Everything is temporary. Everything is changing. There is nothing that is permanent.
You've lived as a monk for 9 years, right?
Correct.
What if life feels so difficult that you have a hard time accepting where you are right now?
3 little words. This will pass.
When I think about this hamster wheel that so many of us are in, I'm asking myself why.
It was like the top of my head lifted off. I felt like my eyes popped out. Steam came out my ears. I was like, wait, the future doesn't exist. I could sell all my shit and go to Thailand. When your life is simple, you just become happy.
What would you advise me and people in similar positions in this modern world where things are not always super simple? What would be your best piece of advice for me and them?
I think to ask yourself a very deep question is that
the podcast, there's not much to prepare. The main thing I would like to talk about with you is many of us youngsters, entrepreneurs, have this, many young people find success in the outer world very early on, and then never really find that inner fulfillment. And that is something I took away from the days with you, like this feelingness of enough right now, with just like it started. Honestly, one of the biggest things those 4 days with you taught me was being present with simple things like drinking a coffee.
yeah.
Really, like since then, in the morning when I drink a chamomile tea, I love my chamomile tea. It brings me so much joy. In the evening and in the morning, I take it, and we did this meditation with you. I smell it, and it's a whole, like, my nervous system calms down.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes I drink...
Before you drink the tea.
Yeah.
That's it. That's meditation.
Because, because of my journey, I know like all of those little things are the big things.
Yeah.
But then I forget sometimes, and like actually at the dinner table, hey, this is life.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a simple thing just to slow down and just, as we normally say, it's like slow down or stop and smell the roses. Like stop and smell the flowers, but stop and just smell your coffee or your tea and just and feel that, like almost like filtering through the cells of your body. It's and even if it's just a few seconds, like a few moments, it's actually a little meditation where your mind's not in the past, it's not in the future, you're not trying to get anything or get rid of anything or even create or destroy or any other thing. It's just even just that simple act of the in-breath and just feeling the out-breath. There's a lovely little meditation that I show people, and it's just, can you take one in-breath through your nose without thinking? Just, and can you feel the out-breath without any thought? And already, that's a little meditation by itself. It doesn't have to take, hours. You don't have to sit in some uncomfortable position or or anything. And you can do it while you're in the middle of a podcast. You can do it while you can even do it. You don't close your eyes, but you could do it on a motorbike. You can do it at any time where you just consciously. You just feel the in-breath and you just feel the out-breath. And then just go about what you're doing. It can be simple.
Were you always like that?
No, I wasn't.
Was there a version of you being very stressed and like...
No, I wasn't stressed. I was just crazy.
I want to hear about the crazy side. Because your name is Free.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. Yeah.
When I told the guys earlier, so my podcast guest, I told them a bit about you. They got really excited when they heard you were a monk. They're like, wow. And then they got even more excited when I told them your name is Free. They're like, Free? Really? I'm like, yeah.
And he's just been surfing. So
I showed them the picture. They're like, what? Who's that man? So they got really excited. And your name originally is Jeffrey, right?
Jeffrey is.
What was Jeff like?
Jeff, well, Jeff is pretty funny and playful, and like I said, a little bit crazy, but not like mad crazy, but just kind of just when I was younger, I was just chasing my tail like a puppy, like puppies just run around doing whatever. And I think that's how I see myself for about 29 years of my life until I actually met with the Buddha's teachings and the teachings of Vipassana. But before that, I was slowly starting to mellow out, and I was starting to spend more time in nature, going camping in nature by myself, going for walks in nature, exploring. So that being in nature itself is very calming and has a beautiful impact on you. So sometimes in nature, I would just like sit and I would think, if I was a rock now, what would I be experiencing? Or I'd stand and I'd say, if I was a tree, what would I be experiencing? It's a weird thought. I don't know where it came from, but
When you were chasing your tail,
yeah,
what was that like? If I would have been a fly in your head around that
a
time?
fly in my head.
Because I think
I
many
would.
of us are chasing their tails, including
Yeah.
me, still today.
Right.
Sometimes there are moments when I ask myself, when is it ever enough?
Yeah, yeah. Good question. It's a good question, though.
I'm not joking. I have this. You met him, Lucas.
Yes,
We were
yes.
last year in Italy, and we are both very driven,
Yes, yes.
with a lot to give, and we were working on our passion projects from morning till evening, very focused,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful Tuscany, and it was. We both agreed 7 p.m. Everything goes off. We go on a walk and we enjoy the sunset together.
Yeah, yeah.
We are both sitting there at 7:10. We're like, let's just finish this one thing. And I started laughing. I'm like, are you, to my own judge? I'm like, we just worked so focused 12 hours. And it's still not enough.
Yeah, right.
So I was chasing my tail there,
Right,
like a
right.
little puppy, like
Yeah.
a hamster wheel.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And now, when is it enough? When is it enough? What was that experience for you?
I was caught up in society, so that's what happens to us. We're so influenced by everything that's happening around us. There's a beautiful quote by Einstein that says, "The sole governing principle of the particle is the field within which it exists." So
Can you repeat that?
I was going to repeat it because everybody doesn't get it. I didn't get it. Like I had to read that about 4 or 5 times, but I was like, the sole governing principle of the particle is the field within which it exists. Now that sounds like some, quantum scientific, quote, but when I heard that, I said, I'm the particle. And then I realized, and even if you may take note of it yourself, every new situation that you go to, you are different. You act different. In here, you're different. You go to the office,
Yeah.
you act different. You get on your motorbike, you go to the cafe, you act different.
Very.
So your environment is shaping and forming, governing who you are and what you are.
Very
How you act, how you speak, you are interacting with the environment. So your environment has a very, very strong impact on you, no matter where you are. So the societies that we grow up in, they form us. When I was younger, I just wanted to fit in with everybody. I didn't want any hassles with anybody. I didn't want to fight with anybody, but I wanted to fit in with a group. And so, if the group were going drinking, it's like, yeah, I'll go drinking. Or, if the group was going surfing, it's like, yeah, I'll go surfing. So there's a big part of us that wants to conform. We want to fit in. We want to feel loved and even protected by our society, by our peers and those around us. So in that way, we just become a part of the society that we grow up in. And it's always interesting when you meet people who say, oh, yes, my father was a missionary in the Congos or something, and, I grew up with Africans. And you can tell this person is a really different person. That they might be American, for example, but they didn't grow up in New York, they didn't grow up in Miami or somewhere like that. They grew up in a different environment. So the environment shaped the family, and then the family shaped the individual. So we're all like this. So I did something completely different. Once I sat in the forest and just by myself, I thought, I think I'm meditating. And that's when I decided I need to find someone to teach me meditation. So that's what I did. I went to find someone, and it so happens that that teacher was a Vipassana meditation teacher. I did a retreat, and this man was answering questions that I didn't even know that I had, and it was just so beautiful. And when I learnt that he also was an ex-Buddhist monk, and then I thought, okay, I went to Burma when I was younger and traveling. I loved Burma. I thought, Burma's a Buddhist country. I'm going to Burma. I'm going to Burma, and I'm going to become a Buddhist monk. And that's just like, it was like pieces of a puzzle putting together that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. My puzzle was just all over the shop, and I wasn't even really concerned about, how should I put my life puzzle together? But when I spent time in nature and I started to be more by myself, I started then to think a little more deeply, be more concerned about my impact on the world. Actually, another thing that led me into this was becoming vegetarian and even vegan. And we're talking back in the early 90s. So wow. Veganism was almost unheard of. If you went to a restaurant, you'd get a salad or, some bread. Yeah. That's about the only options that you would get. And and then just being environmentally conscious. Thinking about the forests, the fact that we're cutting down forests and that we're polluting the planet. So these things made me also, I was already very sensitive. So, but I didn't know. Nobody really in my life said to me, you're a sensitive young guy, you should do this, you should do that. I didn't have those kind of guides in my life. The only guides that kind of existed like that were maybe Christian teachers or something. And I wasn't very interested in religion as such. So, yeah, it's coming back to that point is that we are definitely shaped by our environment. Everywhere we go, we are impacted. And then when you're by yourself and then you're in nature, nature impacts you. It's like nature is teaching you. You start to feel the natural rhythms of nature, the morning sunrise and the way the winds change, and especially if you can eat foods from the nature, you are really in harmony with that, and then you become one with the nature, or that nature is impacting and teaching you.
If I would be inviting 10 people, Western countries, basically people who represent the current status quo of society, different ages. I think we would see the pattern that most of us have lost that connection to nature. I can tell you, it doesn't matter whether they are teenagers in their mid-20s, mid-30s, mid-40s, mid-50s, they're all gonna have this somewhat glued to their bodies.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I just meet people and ask, when is the last time you spent a day without your phone?
They can't remember.
Like, can't remember. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do that? And I work with this tool.
Yes,
it's a beautiful tool.
Yeah.
But it's such a bad master.
Yes.
I'm using this as a tool. I'm not gonna let my life be dictated by this tool. And so what you just shared is, I think, great news for everybody, because you hear so many people like me, like my life dramatically changed when I sold everything I owned and I bought a one-way ticket to Thailand.
Yeah. Wow.
Like going to different cultures and like understanding. Okay. So wait a second. Those people here have so little, but are so much happier than the people I know from like the finance industry.
Yep.
I'm like, wait a second. It did something in my brain. You know, when you see something and like, oh my gosh, I believed a lie for this was not reality.
Yeah.
So when you just said like just going into nature, I think that's good news for people, because they don't have to, like, everybody has to, sell everything and travel the world. You find the answers when you go to different environments.
Yep, it's one thing. Yep. So traveling also is an amazing thing, but not just traveling around with your phone and just like filming everything and then go to the pub and have a beer or something like that, but actually immersing in a culture. Talk to the locals, eat with the locals, stay in the local homestays and really start to watch what they do. If you see that they are happy, much happier than the people back home, more friendly, more smiling, more relaxed. If you see that, then ask questions, go deeper, spend more time with them and observe what they do. Why are they happy? Not just like, film on your phone and go, oh, look where I am, and post it on your Instagram. That's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that, but spend time with them. Talk to them. Even if you can, assist them. Help them. We've got money. We've got all the resources that we have. Why don't we spend time with the locals and really immerse in their culture? It's very beautiful. So one of the most beautiful things you can do here in Bali. And I tell you, if you took the most richest, influential, entrepreneurial, whatever people that came to Bali, and you took them even just one night, and you got them to just sleep in a Balinese house, in a Balinese village, they might kind of go, oh, it's dirty, oh, it's this or it's that, or oh, the food was this. But when they go back, that will probably be the thing that they will tell everybody. And it'll probably be the thing that will have the most impact on them. Seeing people living in a house with a dirt floor, or, the roof is just made from whatever. like
bamboo, whatever.
Yeah, it's like palm leaves and things like that, and cooking on a fire, and you just, the grandmother's there, or the great-grandmother, she's still cooking food and, cleaning and doing things and bossing everyone around. And, the whole family unit is living in there. Again, us Westerners, we're very individual. And we want to break away from the family, and we want to, do our own thing and be independent. But this also means we have very big egos. And when you go to these villages, they're all sharing and living together. They don't have a big ego, because they've got to look after their mum and their dad, and then they have to look after their children. They've got chores to do, and they've got, they're really, really living life. Whereas we're living life, but it's a very, very different kind of life. And especially if you're driving a car, you're in air conditioning, you're eating processed foods, and you're working a schedule that actually has no rhythm with nature. You've got the lights on, you've got the air conditioning on, you don't know what time it is, and you're following clock time. But these people, if they don't have electricity, they wake up when it starts to get light, and they go to bed when it's dark. Maybe they got a candle or something, but they're in tune with nature. And then they go out they step out their back door. There's papaya trees and fruit trees and bananas, and there's chickens and animals there. So their food is like in their backyard, and if not, they get it from other people in the village. And it's so it really brings us back to our real human nature. Having said that, this is what happens also on my meditation retreats, is we've got food supplies, we can have a nice room, we're in a very quiet and a very beautiful place that we do our retreats here in Bali, but people are coming back to their own nature. They don't have to work, they don't have their phone. We ring the bell when it's time to do something. The food is good. They don't really have to think about anything, and they're left alone. And they start to get into your body, the body which is already in tune with nature. Even we live in the cities, we're still somehow in tune with nature. Not very much, more distracted. But on retreat, we start to get back into the rhythm of nature. We wake up early in the morning. We can see the sunrise. We're doing meditations, but it's not just sitting meditation, the whole day long. We're doing walking meditation, eating tea, drinking meditation, which you've experienced. And just helping people to really come back to their own nature. So it's not like I have to go and, go to some faraway place to connect to nature. You can actually do it in the city. But it's also a nice idea if you can head to the park, or be barefoot sometimes, or hug a tree, or, even take a little walk in the rain, or enjoy the snow, and, be a kid also is another thing that's really useful. So being playful, enjoying nature, yeah.
When I think about this hamster wheel that so many of us are in, I'm asking myself why.
It's a really good question.
I'm part of it. No, I'm not pretending like I don't ever have that. I am part of this hamster wheel of I don't have to work.
Okay.
I don't have to get another project. I don't have to take another client. I know from this experience of, I sold everything and I lived a very simple life. And in India, in all sorts of countries. And I was really happy. Like here in Bali, I could survive on 10, 15 euros per day. No, I play paddle, so maybe 25. But, very simple life. And I was really happy.
Yeah.
I am still happy. I'm just trying to represent this this hunger for being enough. And I know so many of us, young entrepreneurs, and even like older entrepreneurs, of like, I'm chasing this like it's enough feeling. I know so many people who are so incredibly successful, but they still have this like, is it ever enough feeling? So do you have advice for me and those people?
Yeah, well, do what you're doing first of all is asking that question. So that was the first question you asked was, how much is enough, and when is enough? And one thing that was one of my first Buddhist monk teachers taught me was to reflect on death. And this isn't something that people really want to think about, but we don't know when we're going to die. We kind of live in this bubble where we think that we're invincible. And you see on the 6 o'clock news, somebody died, a young guy on a motorbike in Bali, or, a surfer, or, someone climbed a mountain, or, whatever. Yeah. And we say, oh yeah, poor guy. Oh, he was probably drunk, or he was stupid or something. No, that could have been us. It really could have been. And we don't know when we're going to die, we don't know where we're going to die, and we don't know how we're going to die. So there's 3 things that we don't know. And if it was tomorrow, if you somehow were told tomorrow's your last day on the planet, what are you going to do with that information? Some people might think, I'll go and spend my credit card, or I'll have a big party or something. But when you really filter that through, you really start to check, what are the most important things to me in my life? And work falls away and schedules fall away. It just comes down to love, gratitude, forgiveness. These things become the most important things. And, I also have a thought, what if I died today and then somebody else would have to go to my room, sift through all my stuff and go, oh, what's this shit? Oh, what's that? Oh, look, he's got, whatever else it is that they find. Someone, whether it's somebody you know or someone you don't know, is going to go through all your stuff and probably throw it in the bin or maybe sell it, make some money or something. That's not important to us. How much stuff we've got, or it might be important to you if somebody's going to go through your stuff, but if you're dead, it doesn't make much difference to you. But to me it's an important reflection. The other thing is, if you've ever moved house, if you live in one place for some time, you realize how much stuff you actually accumulate. And when you look at what you really need, you don't need very much at all. We actually need 3 things to survive. We need food and water, we need clothes to protect us from the weather, and we need shelter, actually, to protect us also from the weather. The other thing is medicine if you're sick, but if you're not sick, you only need 3 things: food and water, clothes and shelter, to stay alive. Everything else is accessories and extras. Mm-hmm. And when you think about that, you go, whew, I got a lot of accessories, I've got a lot of extras, a lot of extra baggage that we're carrying that if you were going to die tomorrow wouldn't mean anything to you. Wouldn't mean anything. Your priorities would be feelings, your sensations, like your senses, not just your 5 physical senses. I mean your feelings, your emotions. And you might do forgiveness and say sorry to people. You're definitely going to want to tell people who you love, how much you love them.
That was my first thought. Yeah? I was like, I'll probably pick out my phone, or if I can see those people, and tell them how much I really, really love them.
Yep.
Like, look them straight into the eyes and like, listen.
Yeah.
So they remember that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. It's important. And this is it's a little bit pertinent to you with your mum's story, etc. So and so many people on our retreat, they also were talking about death and feeling guilty after death, etc. Not their own death obviously, but other people who died and things that had happened. And I just wanted to tell them all. I think I did actually in the end, that I've got a book. I wrote a book about forgiveness, and it can free your mind. And I believe that we all want to leave this world free. We want to we want to leave this world free. We want to leave the world peaceful. We want to leave the world without baggage, so that wherever we're going in the next phase or whatever happens after here, that we go freely and happily. So, yeah.
You mentioned 3 things we need to be to survive, to be alive.
Yeah.
What are those? The things we also need to be happy?
No, it's not about happiness. That's just survival. That's just, as a human, we need the food and water, we need clothes, and we need shelter. So your question, what do we need to be happy?
Or like your mantra says, maybe
safe, peaceful, and healthy. So the thing is that the reason I put peaceful in there and not happy, the world seems to be, this society, we seem to be chasing happiness. But to me, happiness is like, it's a bit like opening a bottle of Coke or something, and it kind of, and then it's like, oh, that's it. Like, it's kind of, happiness is, to me, it's a bit superficial. When you remove everything from the mind, all the thoughts, the past, the future, the dramas, even the love and the happiness and everything, what you find in the mind is peace. It's pure peace. Pure, pure peace. And so, and it's all in us already. We don't actually really have to do much. One thing is to be able to be still and to actually feel that in your essence there is already peace. Happiness is kind of, if you like, an optional extra. It's nice, it's great, but when the question comes up, how do we get happiness, or what do we do to be happy? Sometimes, as we've already spoken, I would say to be simple. I think simplicity is really causing us to be more happy and content. There's a good question, is happy and content, and it comes back to what you've been talking about, is when is enough enough? When can I be content and say, actually I have enough. I've done enough, I've visited enough places in this world, I've had enough sex and drugs and rock and roll or whatever else it is, and how much more can I get? And am I going to be happier if I get more? Or can I actually simply be content with what I have? And that contentment will create the happiness, I believe. In contentment, there's a perfect happiness. I don't think you can force yourself to do that, though. I think you more or less, you either stumble upon it or you can create it, but it's going to have to be a process of perhaps letting go of the things that are complicating your life. I think complicated life is causing the stress. Too much stimulation, too much stuff going on. So if we can start to even just take away the extremities of our complicated life, it might mean letting go of some people that you don't communicate with anymore, or letting go of things that don't serve you anymore. Even just going through your wardrobe and your clothes and just going, I don't wear this anymore. Let me give it to somebody who needs it. And just letting go the shoes, the clothes, maybe sporting equipment or whatever, and just start to get rid of a lot of clutter. Decluttering is also a beautiful thing. And to just start to make your life more simple. When your life is simple, you just become happy. And that goes back to the people in the village. Their life's simple. They get up in the morning, they know what they're going to do today, pretty much. They have to work in the field, they have to do this, they have to feed the chickens, they have to whatever. And they know that they'll get that done in the day. There's not a deadline. It's not like, by 5 o'clock you have to have this done or else. It's like, well, if I don't get it done today, I'll do it tomorrow. And, that's why they're so happy.
What would be your advice for someone like me who has... I have multiple businesses.
Yeah.
I'm in a position where it's complex. So many, when you post content, for example, online.
Yeah.
Right now, there are people celebrating my content and telling me it changed their lives. At the same time, there are people who say it's horrible. They can't stand my German accent. Whatever, I'm a liar. Whatever. There's so many opinions about me. Running a business is sometimes not simple but complex. There are people, employees who go through their own challenges, health challenges. It's a complex thing. So what would you advise me and people in similar positions in this modern world where things are not always super simple? What would be your best piece of advice for me and them?
I think to ask yourself a very deep question is that is, what do I really want? What does my heart want? Why am I doing this in the first place? Like, am I chasing status? Am I chasing money? Am I chasing a future? Like, am I trying to create a future? If there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with any of those. But if it's causing you stress, and then as we know, that when you are stressed in your mind, you're going to create illnesses in your body. Is it really worth it? Okay, now you're young and strong and fit and whatever, and you can drink and you can do all these things. But as you start to get older, those things start to catch up with you. So what is it that I really want? And again, it kind of comes back to that death situation of, well, I know I'm going to have to die. I'm going to have to leave this planet, this world at some point, this life. Then what do I really want to leave behind? What legacy do I want to leave? How can I, this is another good question, is how can I serve people more so than actually serving myself? And especially if you have been successful to a certain extent. And I heard this even from Tony Robbins. He's done amazing work in the world. But one of his philosophies is, what can I give? Why, how can I serve?
The secret to living is giving, he always says.
Yeah. And I really respect him for that. And he's becoming very much more spiritual, actually.
Yes.
Especially the influence from his wife, mostly. But I won't be surprised if he does write a book, says, I am your guru. Because he was saying, I'm not your guru. But at some point he might very well take ownership of that.
It's a question that follows me. Every single morning, the people who follow my content, they will smile, because I always say, it's probably the best question you can ask yourself. What do I really want? Like, imagine you have an argument with someone and you pause and you ask yourself, what do I really want?
Yes.
And in no circumstance, it's, well, I actually want the other person to feel horrible about themselves.
Yeah, right.
Right? What do I really want in this moment when you have an argument? Well, peace. Yeah. That'd be really nice. Yeah. I ask myself that question all the time.
Yeah, nice.
It's like a compass. But sometimes I catch myself being, do I really want to work that much?
I actually don't think anybody really wants to work very much.
But right now,
I certainly don't.
I have this struggle. Like right now, I'm technically working, but it doesn't feel like work.
That's the kind of work we should all do. And you're also doing work that's serving others. Our conversation here is going to
serve a lot of people.
It's going to find people, and people may get some nice ideas and some tips and create some changes in their life. That's perfect and beautiful. And it doesn't feel like work. So I also recommend this to everybody: is do what you love and make money from doing what you love. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Especially nowadays in this world.
But people are too attached to their conditioning and their old conditions, or maybe what their family did, or what they've been trained to do, or something. And they might have degree in this or that and think, well, I have to follow that. But what's your heart saying? Because how do you know when you're going to die? Wouldn't you like to do what you love to do, rather than just working to get money to get to a point X in the future somewhere, where then I don't need to work anymore? Or what about enjoying life along the way? Yeah, to me this is, I could never, and that's why I am who I am and how I live, but I could never really just lock into something like a house or a place where I would have to keep working in order to get that place or maintain that place. To me, it doesn't make sense. If I had enough money to get it straight and buy it outright and say, okay, I got my place, and then whatever I do is up to me. But to be working for an imaginary point in the future. On my first Vipassana retreat, the teacher said, in the middle of the night, the Dharma talk one night, he said he was just giving these beautiful talks and, just loving it. And then he just said, the future doesn't exist. And he just kept on talking. And I've just gone, what? Like, it was like the top of my head lifted off. I felt like my eyes popped out. Steam came out my ears. I was like, wait, the future doesn't exist. I had multiple emotions and reactions to that. I was happy because it's like, of course it doesn't exist. What future? Where can you say that there is a future? There's no place that exists. The time hasn't happened, so that doesn't exist. And it's like, the future doesn't exist. And it was like, of course. But then I was angry because like nobody told me. I was 29 years old before somebody told me that the future doesn't exist. I think we should be taught this at kindergarten, or your parents should be talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the next thing was I was disappointed because I wasted my life. My whole life was in the future. I was always thinking, I'll go there and I'll do that, or I'll see that person, I'll say this, and my mind was always jumping into the future. So there are two kinds of people, very basically, with regard to time. There are those who live in the future, constantly planning and projecting and such. And then there are those that are kind of living in the past and wishing, I had good times in the past, I wish I could have those again. Or, oh shit, the past was so bad, and my future's not going to be any better, or something like that. Both of these can be equally detrimental in the sense that we're living outside of the present moment. The present moment is your reality. It's your only reality. It's the only reality you can ever experience. There is no other thing nothing else is real other than...
How can we live there? I'm gonna again. I'm the future person.
Yep.
There are moments when I know that about myself, but there are moments when I'm present. Like right now, I'm very present with you.
Beautiful.
When I play paddle, I'm 100% present. I can't think about what I'm eating later. There's
of course,
a ball coming at me, and that's when I have the most peace.
Ah, right.
When do you know go-karting? Of course you know
Yes.
go-karting.
Yeah.
I'm 100% present. You
have
cannot
to
think
be,
about it.
yes.
I'm so peaceful. I'm so joyful. I'm so alive.
You've got a bit of adrenaline there.
But I love it.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Those are like, you have one day left with activities in your life. What would you do? I would play paddle. I would go racing with my friends.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
You would go and see people that you loved, and would...
right after that, I would go play paddle and do those kind of things. So my mind goes often to the future. I'm not such a past person because I think, past, I figured that part out. Past is wisdom. There's no power in the past. Mm-hmm. But I do catch myself thinking too much about the future and like, what is that? So I'm asking, how do we live in this thing called present moment? The now.
Yep. So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't or don't think about the future or the past. The past, we can learn some great lessons, and that's what I use in the forgiveness practice, is reflecting on the past, understanding the mistakes I've made, and then realizing, I don't want to do that again. I need to be more mindful in the present so that I don't make mistakes, so that I won't regret them or feel guilty in the future. Yes. So this is a very powerful tool for creating a brilliant future. The other thing is that we have to still set times. We set a time for this. We've set time for retreats and other such things. But there is a lot of time when we can simply be in the present, and it comes back to just picking your cup and just smelling the coffee. Just being conscious of that in-breath, feeling the sensation of the coffee, noticing how the mind works, taking a sip, feeling it coming into the body, noticing whether you like it or dislike it. And it's also about relinquishing control. This touches on a very deep and much deeper and stronger topic of control, manipulation, which largely arises out of perfectionism. So you and me, I'd like to think I'm a retired perfectionist. Sometimes I come out of retirement, or a, yeah, or I'm a rehabilitated perfectionist. Perfectionism in itself is not a bad thing because it means that we are striving to do things in a better way, perhaps improving, etc. But it can become toxic. It can become obsessive, and it can create a lot of stress. When you are judging yourself against others who are perhaps that you believe are more perfect than yourself, or when you have this perfect ideal of something in your head and you are not able to achieve that. Now, this can come from our parents, it can come from our society. Again, going back to that idea that we're a product of our environment. But it can also come just because of our past life karma, that we still have this conditioning of perfectionism. And it's really beautiful when you start to let that go and start to just allow things to be exactly as they are. You don't need to control anything. You don't need to manipulate anything. It doesn't need to go faster. It doesn't need to go slower. It doesn't need to be this side or that side or any other type of control or manipulation. So when we practice meditation, we slip into this state, and it's peace. But in the peace is also power. And people don't understand a peaceful mental state. People will assume that is that it's pacific, or it's yeah. I lost it. It'll come back to me.
The word.
Yeah. So it's in peace is power. It's the ability to allow everything to slide, even just for a moment, connect to that peace. And actually that peace is like a well of pure power. And from that you can do anything you want. You can create whatever you want. In other ways that teachers are teaching now, it's like they say accessing the field. The field is limitless. It's full of potential. This is the quantum understanding. How do you access that? It's by coming to the present moment and letting everything drop away, fall away, relinquishing control, relinquishing the drive to get something or have something or make something or be something, and to just simply be in this moment. Whether it's just the sensation of the in-breath and the out-breath, or even sometimes we can drop that and just be the awareness itself. When you come out of that, you feel refreshed.
What if life feels so difficult that you have a hard time accepting where you are right now? Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have a moment in my life when I know, like while you were speaking, this picture came up. Me being in the hospital, and I had a rare form of cancer. I don't know if you
Yes,
heard about
you'd
that.
mentioned
Sorry.
it.
And I would for weeks, I would ask myself, repeat the question, why me, why me, why me, why me, why did this happen to me?
Yes.
And it drove me nuts.
Yep. Because you can't find the answer to that
I couldn't
question.
find, I'm like, ah. And at some point, I accepted. I did exactly what you just said.
Correct.
I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm exactly
Beautiful.
where I need to be. And then all of a sudden, first of all, I felt so much better mentally.
Yep, of course.
And I could start building. I felt like I have power again. I wasn't like a victim of what happened in the past. I'm like exactly where I need to be. I just know how hard it is when you are in the midst of it and you have anxiety and you or have anxiety, you experience this distress. Like it feels like you can't get out of it. And I'm trying to find a way for people who are in this state and they can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
They just got their heart broken. They felt they have someone who just has been diagnosed with cancer. Like, how do I find acceptance in that?
So it's interesting that you use the word acceptance, because that's the word that I was just about to use. to say I believe that it's a matter of even stating to yourself, this is what I'm experiencing now. This is how I feel now. Most of the time we are trying not to feel this and trying to feel something else. There may be times when we are also going the other way and wallowing in it and drowning in it and saying, but then they're also saying, poor me, being a victim, or why me, and going deeper and deeper into it. There needs to be an ability to see both sides of that, trying to run away from this, trying not to be in this experience, and then indulging or even attaching to that and identifying with it and saying, I'm suffering, we don't say I'm a victim, but basically we are saying that. And to try and find something in the middle that just says, this is victim mode, or this is judgment or comparison, or whether your mind's reflecting on the past or projecting into the future, to be able to actually name that, identify it, and really actually experience it. Because most of the time we don't want to experience what we're experiencing. So we're either indulging in it, wallowing in it, becoming a victim of it, or we're trying not to be in the experience. Can you just use acceptance and say, this is what I'm experiencing now? And by using the word now, you've already assumed that perhaps it was like that in the past, but you are also presuming that it will not always be this way. There's three little words: this will pass. It's been used for probably thousands of years. I turn it into a little bit of a Buddhist saying, and I say, this is passing. So it's present continuous, it's moving. This is passing. This suffering is passing. I wasn't like this in the past. Okay, I am like this now, as I accept myself, my physical and mental condition as it is, that this is passing. Can also say this is changing. By virtue of the fact that the past was not like this, and the present is ongoing changing, then I may understand, this doesn't have to be, I don't have to stay like this. And also if we understand that we live in a sea of possibilities, what other possibilities could I have, could I explore, other than just laying in this bed? Maybe I could go and lay in another bed. Or maybe I could be in another apartment. Or maybe I could be in another city. Perhaps I could even be in another country. I could sell all my shit and go to Thailand or Bali and see what happens. Sometimes what you did, that dramatic change of circumstances. In fact, a friend of mine just came, she's in Dubai. She very suddenly, she's got 2 kids, and she very suddenly decided, I'm going to Bali, I'm going to join Freeze Retreat. And within one day, she got a visa. Oh, I don't know if she needed the visa. She did the visa, she did the air ticket, she arranged the father to look after the kids, and everything. And she was on a flight, and she arrived, I think, within about 24 hours. And she came, but she was so exhausted from life, not just the preparation, she was already exhausted. That when she got to the retreat, she just she looked good, but she said she was really shattered. Anyway, she took a few days to rest, and she left feeling fantastic and wonderful after some time. So sometimes we just need. She was saying that she didn't want to get out of bed. She was stuck and depressed, etc. Sometimes you've just got to just pull yourself out and do something. I know it's not easy to do that, but change something, change anything. Yeah.
Because I have a couple of my people, my friends, who at the same time have loved ones being diagnosed with a disease.
All right. Yes. Yes.
And I see how challenging it is for them right now. And I wonder sometimes, do we have to suffer when others are suffering? Do we have to? Because I remember going through this time, and someone who loves me, someone I love, asked me, like, do I have to worry? I'm like, well, you can. It doesn't help me, right? I much rather have you be happy. Like, it would serve me more. It would, if you want me to heal, if you want me to recover, I want you to be happy. Go enjoy life. I don't want you to suffer. Right? Even if shit really hits the fan.
Yeah.
Cry a day, cry two, but then please, like, I would have a hard time in my, being buried 3 meters under the earth, and you still suffer. Like, I want you to live.
Correct.
I want you to be happy. I just wonder, how can those people who have a loved one go through an immense challenge, how can they still be safe, peaceful, and healthy?
Yeah. It's one thing we can do is wish the other person to be safe, peaceful, and healthy, especially if you are separated by distance.
Yeah.
That they're in another country and
case.
you can't do anything for them. When you feel that you've done as much as you can physically for them, then you can use that as a prayer. It's a beautiful mantra. But first, you must be safe, peaceful, and healthy within yourself. So you say, may I be safe, peaceful, and healthy. May I be safe, peaceful, and healthy. You can even, use beads and just pass one bead and say, may I be safe, peaceful, and healthy. May I be safe, peaceful, and healthy. May I be safe, peaceful, and healthy. May I be safe. Until you feel it. Once you feel it, then you share it with that person. So it's very genuine from your heart to their heart. This can be healing for yourself at first, so that you are starting to let go of the suffering that you're feeling from them, but then you're wishing it for them. So this is one thing. Another thing is you can teach them to do the mantra for themselves, which would be far better. That will help them to get out of that state. But then we all have our own karma. We are all in the situation that we are in. And it's largely from what we've done in the past. And I know it doesn't help, it doesn't necessarily change much, but when you understand that actually people will misunderstand what I'm saying here, because people think that it's reward and punishment.
Yeah.
But that's in the human realm, that's how we copy karma. Karma is a natural law, like gravity, like electricity, like the seasons changing, like the fact that a mango tree grows out of a mango seed and becomes, a massive tree and makes, thousands of mangoes. It's karma, it's a natural law. When people don't understand that. When they hear karma, they think we use it in the term of, it's your bad karma, or,
Yeah.
But this is the way humans are using it, and karma existed before humans. Karma was around. Humans didn't create or make karma. It's not a Buddhist thing or a Hindu thing. Karma is affecting all beings everywhere equally.
What is it?
it's a natural law. So it's the balancing factor of all beings everywhere. And if you're putting out something negative will come back. You're putting out something positive, and this also applies to the field. When you put out into the field reflects it back to you. So the thing that we do have as humans is intention. So if I intend to do something negative, that goes into the field, the intention, that negative will come back to me. If I have an intention to do positive, the positive will come back to me. So this is why also being mindful becomes extremely important. So that we know that what we're putting out into the field. However, in the past, when like my first 29 years of my life where I was going around in circles, I didn't know anything about karma. I didn't know anything about intention. I didn't know what I was putting out into the field. So I hurt people, not necessarily intentionally, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. And I hurt living beings as well. So I created bad karma by not knowing, not understanding. It wasn't my fault because I wasn't taught about it. But once I learnt it, then I realized, oh, this is important. I need to be careful of my speech, my actions, and my thoughts. These are three things that a human being does every day. These are the three karmas that we have every day. We speak, we act, and we think. Every speech, action, and thought is putting out into the field. Even your thoughts are putting out into the field. Even if it's whatever you call it, within your own field, within your own consciousness, a thought is emanating out. So then whatever we put out in our speech, actions, and thoughts will come back. We believe in past lives, which is also karma, but not exclusive. People just think, oh, karma means past lives, but it's not only that. In past lives, how many past lives we've had, we don't know. We've done so many things. And again, were we mindful? Probably not. We were largely mindless, without awareness, not understanding intention. We said bad things, we did bad things, we thought bad things, harmful things. Then we're born into this life as a cute little baby, very innocent and pure, but these things from past lives will start to arise within us. So when the conditions are right, the effect arises. So in a very simple way, karma is cause and effect, but it's not. This is in its most basic form, but it has nothing to do with any gods or religions or other such things. It's purely physical. If I breathe in, at some point I have to breathe out. If my heart expands, it has to contract. If I drink some coconut, it'll be digested by the body, and I'll have to release it at some point. So these are all cause and effect processes. It's perfectly natural, and it's happening every minute, every moment of our life. Even the fact that we blink our eyes, you ask me a question, I'm responding. So what I'm saying now is coming from, you are the cause, I'm the effect. Now I'm the cause, then you'll be the effect. If you decide to stop talking, I'll probably stop talking too.
Very true.
Yeah.
I wanted to challenge that thought that probably comes up for a lot of people when hearing about karma. I think one of the first things that happen is, okay, so are you saying I deserve this? I deserve
Good.
cancer? I deserve that my husband cheated on me? Are you saying I deserve this?
No, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
So,
well, I know, but I'm trying to.
yes, but you're right. That's how we put it into words, and this is how humans interpret it. Actually, it's cause and effect, and it's impersonal. It's not about karma. Is not going, oh, I don't like the look of you. I'm gonna make you suffer. You did this by yourself. You created. You put out negativity into the field. You will receive negativity back from the field. So to say you deserve it, we could say that, but people don't like that terminology. to me, it's simply cause and effect. Yeah.
If you have a, let's say, 2-year-old, 2 month happens, a newborn gets leukemia. Is that like past life? Is that...
It is. There's something that being did in a previous life. That effect has arisen in this life. There's nothing anybody can do about this. People will blame it on God. I find the blaming on God or even saying you deserve this or I deserve this or something, it's basically the same conversation. It's the same thing. There's no blame. It's simply cause and effect. This is just a transference of energy. It's not there's anyone to blame or, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you should have done this. This is all this. It's just words and whatever. When you really take time to be really present, just be perfectly still with your body and just notice how the systems of your body are working. So even sitting here right now, food is digesting. Am I doing that? I'm not doing that. I don't know how digestion works, honestly. Now I also need to pee. I can see the cause and effect, but how does this system work? I have no idea. And if I had to control my heart, my breathing, my immune system, and all the systems of the body, the nervous system, etc., I wouldn't have a clue. I couldn't do that. But it's all working perfectly, and all the systems of the body are working perfectly in harmony to make this so-called looks like a single unit of a being, all working in perfect harmony. And I'm not doing that. How is it working? There's a natural law that's operating through us, and this is karma. Others will call it God. I don't have a problem with anyone calling anything God. I don't mind that. If you call it God, it makes me happy also. But something is operating through us, because I don't have the intelligence to make my brain work or to make my liver work or to, how the body works, etc. Even this, like the way my mouth is moving, there's some signals coming from what I would say the mind to the brain, to the lips, to the tongue, and we end up with this audible and understandable language. It's like, this is cause and effect. This is not, it's not spiritual, it's not religious, it's just, that's how it works. That's what's working. There is something that's working in everything that we are unaware of. And this is also why we practice meditation, so that when you become, and it's not just about being still, but the stillness is one of the very strong contributing factors for us to understand what is the nature of this body and mind. When you sit perfectly still and you say, I'm not going to move, I'm not going to do anything, what happens? Some little itchiness arises, or some pain arises in your foot or your knee, or you hear some sound and the mind's going, oh, I don't like this, oh, I want to move, oh, blah, 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 blah. Where's all this coming from? You sit still, you're doing nothing. Where's all this coming from? Literally, if you said, I'm going to do nothing, I'm not going to think about anything, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit here, I'll do nothing. And then you think, what time is it?
I still have to do this.
Or, oh, I should have gone to the toilet before I did this. Or, my butt's hurting. Oh, I shouldn't have sat in this position. Where's all this coming from? You just made a decision, I will do nothing. You can't. So who's doing it? It's not a who, it's a what. What is it? It's karma. You're conditioned. You're conditioned by all the things within this field that have conditioned you to do everything. So it's not then conditioning is not the culprit. There's nobody to blame. It's not like we kind of go, oh, well, karma's the fault. It's not karma. Karma is not is not a fault for anything. It's simply a process like cause and effect. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, the world turns around. It rains, it waters the plants, and everything grows, and there's light and there's dark, and all these simple and beautiful processes that are happening in the world. To me, it all just makes sense. It all just fits in perfectly.
So what I'm taking away from this, and also something I see here, the Balinese culture that I learned so much from, is that they believe in karma.
They do.
They really do believe in karma, and what is clear, I think what everybody can understand is that the energy you put out, the intentions you put out, is circulating and at some point coming back to you.
Correct. And we don't know when,
We
don't know where, and we don't know how, but it will come back.
Yeah.
Because we've put it out. It's in the field somewhere.
100%. And sometimes you do something loving, caring for someone, but it's not coming back from the same person. No. It's coming back in a different way, and you don't even know.
That's it. That's why if you want to feel loving and kindness to yourself, you just keep putting it out. You can do it for yourself alone, or you do it for others. It'll come back to you. It doesn't matter where.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I always say, like, if you wanna see an immediate effect of this natural law that we just described, walk through a city for 20 minutes with a big smile on your face, a genuine big smile on your face, and say hi to people.
You may not be well accepted in a lot of big cities.
True.
You could.
True.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Right? Yeah. Do this, and then walk with your most annoyed facial expression through that same city.
Okay.
And just see how many smiles you get back. Comparing both situations.
Yeah, of course.
When you walk with a smile on your face, doesn't matter which city, at some point someone will give you a smile back.
Sure. Yeah.
And a hello back. And hi. And when you walk through the city with this negative energy, of course you get less of the positivity that you put out back. Sure. Yeah. Just to see, wow, that it does have an impact.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is something very practical we can live by, the intention. Like, what is your intention? And by the way, if you need a pee break, okay,
I'm
perfect.
Thanks.
Be wet. Wet. You've lived as a monk for 9 years, right?
Correct.
And you are a teacher for so many, including now for me. I want to know, was there a teacher for you that had a profound impact on your life? And what was the best teaching? You shared one a bit earlier, this aha moment of there's no such thing as future. There's no future, right? Was there another moment when it just clicked for you? Like, wow, this teaching here was really profound. So was there a teacher? And if yes, what's the biggest lesson in that time span of being a monk for 9 years?
Yes. So when I was in Australia and I started to meditate, I went from meditation retreat to retreat, Vipassana meditation retreats, quite a few different teachers. And one of those teachers was a Buddhist monk from Myanmar. And it was him that I said, I would like to become a monk. And he said, then come to my monastery in Myanmar. So I went with him. And so he became my great master. And it's been about 30 years now. So he's still alive. He's 96 or something.
Wow.
So he is really my great master. His name is Siado Ujanaka, or Chianmie Siado. So he's that's the main one. The next one I would have to say is a monk who's actually the same age as me. So if I didn't stop being a monk, we would be contemporaries, which would be quite interesting. His name is Siado U Tejaniya, and he has a very interesting approach. He's just saying, watch your mind. Watch your mind. Wherever you go, whatever you do, just watch your mind. Be aware of what is awareness, what is thinking, what is not thinking, and the awareness that arises when there's no thinking, the awareness that arises when there is thinking, and also checking your attitude. He says your attitude is the key to everything, which is really brilliant,
Yeah, I
actually.
love that because I said it's one of those teachings I want to share with the world. Like even in business, I always say your attitude determines your altitude.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, beautiful. I
Like
love it.
how far you come in life, how far you can grow as a person, is really determined by your attitude, and your attitude includes your intention. Your attitude
Sure.
reflects so many things. So yeah,
Yeah. And of course, the attitude of gratitude, which is a
yes,
little bit well worn now, but beautiful is that attitude. And you're right in saying the attitude is, I think, inextricably connected to your intention. They go very, very well together. Those are my two main teachers that I can mention, and the probably the biggest lesson that I got from all of it, and it seems very simple. It's just that everything is temporary. Everything is changing. That there is nothing that is permanent. You know, we can look around and say, oh, these things are permanent or something. Well, you know, there was just an earthquake in Myanmar. I mean, buildings are not permanent, and, you know, these other such things. However, when we talk about physical processes, and that includes our six senses, seeing, our five senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, etc. These are all impermanent. They're constantly changing. And the other is the mind is constantly changing. Mental processes are changing. And so when we understand that the body and mind is constantly changing, which fits in with the laws of science and quantum, these are energies. It's mental energy, it's physical energy. Of course it's changing. How could it be permanent? And so when the body and mind is changing, that means I am changing. That means my mind is changing. That means the I that I believe that I am is more like a movie that's unfolding, or a story that I'm actually writing. And when you come back to cause and effect, you come back to intention, then I'm writing my story as I am speaking now. Literally every living moment, I am creating who I am. And I'm creating my future. There's no other way that this works. You can't think that it's some other way. It must be what I say and do now, coupled with what I've said and done in the past, which has brought me to the present. These combine and create my future. It must be this way. So this is where mindfulness of the constantly, perpetuatingly changing present moment is one of the most important things that we can come to understand. Again, it sounds very simple. Everything's changing. Okay. Nothing's permanent. Okay. Everything's temporary. Okay. Sounds like little throwaway lines. But to be honest, like, I learned this when I first started to meditate, and I've kind of gone, wow, everything's changing. Yeah, I can feel it. I experience it. I understand this. And, you know, it's still downloading. Okay, I'm a slow learner, you know, I have to admit, but like 30 years, and it's still affecting my daily life. How everything is in a constant state of change, perpetual change. That they say the only thing that's constant is change. The only thing that doesn't change is change. Or like that means that everything is changing. It's constantly changing. Therefore, change is permanent, so to speak. It's just a little play with words. So,
wow,
and when you know this, hey, And if you're scientific, you check, the cells of the body are all changing. It's like your blood's changing, your breath is changing, the food in your body is changing. The way you look is changing. You look today, you look tomorrow, you go, same guy. You're not. You can't be. Your hair's changing, your nails changing. Every cell in your body is in some way in a process of change. That's on a physical level. And then on a mental level, you look for just a few seconds at your own mind and you'll see that it's changed. Fast forward this podcast, if you could watch it like in 10 seconds or something, you'd just see us going, and we'd be like happy, serious, All these are all different minds, different experiences of mind. And then it just keeps going. That's the way it is. When you slip into this flow and you become this flow of cause and effect, you stop fighting. You stop trying to say, I want it to be like this, or I want it to be like that, or I don't like it like this, or I don't like it like that. You go, it's like this. All right, okay. But you know that if I am I won't say the master of cause and effect, but if I have any intention, my intention then can produce my future. Now you're a creator. Okay, you're not a victim. What do you want? What do you want to create?
Oh my goodness gracious. That means if we do that, we have so much power about what is right now.
Yep.
Watch your mind.
Yeah.
That was the thing your teacher said, right? Watch your mind, watch your words, watch your thoughts.
Your attitude.
Watch your attitude.
Yeah.
Because it is creating your altitude, it's creating your reality.
Correct.
And that's where I think our power is.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. Yeah.
We have so much power.
Unlimited.
About how we experience events. There's this Eckhart Tolle says it's not the event that makes it stressful, it's our interpretation of the event that makes it stressful.
Correct. So this comes back to when somebody else is sick, then you suffering because they're suffering, okay, that might seem very sympathetic or, something on your side, but you don't have to. In fact, it's better for you to be strong, positive, then you'll be more helpful to them.
Yes.
But many of us, when somebody else crumbles, we crumble too. Or if somebody else is angry, we get angry too. The world doesn't need more crumbling and more anger. It needs more positivity, more strength, more clarity, more purity, more love.
Yeah, and if you ask the person who is actually going through the pain, they won't tell you like, please feel equally as horrible as I do. No, I need you to be strong. I need you to be safe. I need you to be peaceful. Like the last thing I need is more fear.
That's right. Yeah. And to be happy, to be positive. Yeah. Yeah, and joyful, and enjoy your own life. Look, I've done something, whatever it is I've done. I've ended up in this position. You be careful. You be mindful. You create your beautiful future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. Oh, this is so empowering, and I love how, I have so many different teachers. I have so many amazing people I get to learn from, and it's, I love when I see similarities in
absolutely.
In their teachings, like. The secret to living is giving earlier this belief in karma and belief in positive intention and positive attitude, that it comes back. And what you said earlier, if you want to feel love, give love. If you want to feel joy, makes give. Reminds me of the Bible, which is a different teacher, right? Sure. Like give, and you shall receive. There's so many amazing teachings that we learned today, that I learned today from you, and also the experience I had at the retreat with you. And I can so highly recommend to everybody here to come to one of your retreats. I hope that at some point my community gets to experience your wisdom and
Sure.
what I've experienced with you. Like those simple things,
Yeah.
the simple joy of life. And I will obviously link all of the possibilities to get into your field, your energy,
Beautiful.
the description down below. I can so recommend it. I want to say big thank you
Ah, I thank
for
you.
your time, for your wisdom, for sharing, because you could keep all of this to yourself,
Yes, I could.
but you don't.
No, true.
You came all the way from Kuta to this beautiful studio here. So just big thank you. I hope your work has immense impact on the world, on me and so many others.
Oh, beautiful.
Like the world really needs more peace, more
Yeah.
safety, more
Health.
health. So final time. May you be safe, peaceful, and healthy.
Yeah.
It's really like since the retreat, I repeat it every morning. Even my friends, they're running. I think I say, may I be safe, healthy, and peaceful. But I don't think that doesn't matter.
I prefer to keep the order.
Yeah,
Safe,
keep the order.
peaceful, and healthy. Safe, peaceful, and healthy. Safe, peace. Because when you feel safe, when you're safe in your mind, free from danger and free from internal suffering, you feel peaceful. When you feel safe and peaceful, your body then becomes healthy. So it's safe, peaceful, and healthy. So there is a little
There is a
flow and an order to it. So yeah, safe, peaceful, and healthy.
Safe, peaceful, and healthy.
Yeah.
May you be safe, peaceful, and healthy. Thank you so much for
May
your time.
we all be safe, peaceful, and healthy, and
Thank
all
you.
beings. Thanks, brother.
Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, just as a little gift from our side, from my team, because you stayed until the end of this episode. 30 days of free Fire Within membership. I created the Fire Within membership to give you guys access to the tools that have changed my life, the lives of my clients, and give you also access to a community of like-minded people. We have guided breathwork sessions, guided meditations, guided visualization practices, really tools that enable you to create the life that you deserve and that you want. And it's one of the best things we have ever created. Hundreds of people, live events, sessions that will blow your mind. 30 days for free. You will find the link in the description. Thank you so much, and until next time.